Hello and welcome, dear students. In today's program, we are going to discuss one of the important concepts which is related to teacher education, that is team teaching. The objectives related to today's concept are to know the origin of team teaching, understand the concept of team teaching in the light of various definitions, to know the various categories of team teaching, to evaluate team teaching in accordance with its merits and demerits. Dear students, innovations are necessitated when an existing situation fails to cope with the problems and challenges it faces. Education is not an exception. Innovations in education are bound to increase, for it has now become highly technological. The radio, television, teaching machines and films play a vital role in educating the people. They, in fact, try to replace teachers in the classroom. Moreover, the present educational structure itself provides room for innovation. The modern educational philosophers and educationists, while expressing their grudges with the present system of education, hold that present system of education has failed to pay the utmost attention to the needs of the students. Ivan Illich is one such critical educational philosopher who says the escalation of the schools is as destructive as the escalation of the weapons, but less visibly so. On the other hand, there are some people who wish to bring in the desired changes without disturbing the present educational structure. The tussle between these two has raised doubts among teachers and curriculum planners. The team teaching is one such innovation which can make desirable changes in the present system of education without disturbing its structure. Team teaching is structured on the needs of the students, the ability of the teachers, and the facilities available in an institution. Hence, it is worth trying out in our schools. Now, students, let us discuss history of team teaching. Team teaching had its origin in America in the mid-1950s, drawing strengths from an alliance with several of the great universities and championed by bodies such as the National Association of Secondary School Principals and the National Educational Association. By 1964, it had got the imagination of some 1,500 teachers, while about 45,000 pupils were being instructed under team teaching methods. It reached England in 1960s. Mr. J. Freeman's team teaching in Britain gives an account of its growth in that country. Now, team teaching has earned a place for itself in a number of schools and colleges worldwide. In India, a few categories of team teaching are used intentionally or unintentionally at various levels with primary, secondary, college and university. But due to lack of awareness about its significance and procedure, various educational institutions hesitate in its implementation, though it will best suit our conditions. Team teaching can be defined as a group of 2 or more teachers working together to plan, to conduct and to evaluate the learning activities for the same group of learners. According to Warwick, team teaching is a form of organization in which individual teachers decide to pool resources, interests and expertise in order to devise and implement a scheme of work suitable to the needs of their pupils and the facilities of the school. Quinn and Conter 1984 defined team teaching as, quote, simply teamwork between two qualified instructors who together make presentations to an audience. In team teaching, a group of teachers work together, plan, conduct and evaluate the learning activities for the same group of students. In practice, team teaching has many different formats, but in general, it is a means of organizing staff into groups to enhance teaching. Teams generally comprise staff members who may represent different areas of subject expertise, but who share the same group of students and a common planning period to prepare for the teaching. To facilitate this process, a common teaching space is desirable. However, to be effective, team teaching requires much more than just a common meeting time and space. Teachers together set goals for a course, design a syllabus, prepare individual lesson plans, teach students, and evaluate the results. Teams can be single discipline, interdisciplinary, or school within a school teams that meet with a common set of students over an extended period of time. New teachers may be paired with veteran teachers. Innovations are encouraged, and modifications in class size, location, and time are permitted. Now, let us discuss some categories of team teaching. There appear to be two broad categories of team teaching, Category A and Category B. In Category A, two or more instructors are teaching the same students at the same time within the same classroom. In Category B, the instructors work together but do not necessarily teach the same group of students nor necessarily teach at the same time. 6 models of team teaching have been identified by Maroney 1995 and Robinson and Schiebel 1995. Category A team teaching usually involves a combination of these models according to the personalities, philosophies or strength of the team teachers, as well as the personalities and strengths of the learners. The different forms of the team teaching under this category are traditional team teaching. In this case, the teachers actively share the instruction of content and skills to all students. For example, one teacher may present the new material to the students while the other teacher constructs a concept map on the overhead projector as the students listen to the presenting teacher. Next, collaborative teaching. This academic experience describes a traditional team teaching situation in which the team teachers work together in designing the course and teach the material not by usual monologue but by exchanging and discussing ideas and theories in front of the learners. Not only do the team teachers work together, but the course itself uses group learning techniques for the learners such as small group work, student-led discussion, and joint test taking. Then next is complementary or supportive team teaching. This situation occurs when one teacher is responsible for teaching the content to the students while the other teacher takes charge of providing follow-up activities on related topics or on study skills. Then next is parallel instruction. In this setting, the class is divided into 2 groups and Each teacher is responsible for teaching the same material to his smaller group. This model is usually used in conjunction with other forms of team teaching and is ideally suited to the situation when students are involved in projects or problem-solving activities. Then, differentiated split class. This type of teaching involves dividing the class into smaller groups according to learning needs. Each educator provides the respective group with the instruction required to meet their learning needs. For example, a class may be divided into those learners who grasp adding fractions and those who need more practice with the addition of fractions. One teacher would challenge the learners who grasped the concept more quickly, while the second teacher would likely to review or reteach those students who require further instruction. The next is monitoring teacher. This situation occurs when one teacher assumes the responsibility for instructing the entire class, while the other teacher circulates the room and monitors students' understanding and behavior. Now, Category B team teaching. Category B team teaching consists of a variety of team teaching models in which the instructors work together but do not necessarily teach the same group of students, or if they do not teach these students at the same time. This category of team teaching can take many forms such as: number 1, team members meet to share ideas and resources but function independently. This version of cooperative teaching entails weekly meetings and a teaching resource notebook. The goal of the weekly meetings are to discuss the concept to be covered during the following week of classes, to present ways of teaching and assessing these concepts, and to share new ideas among teachers. Then second, teams of teachers sharing a common resource center. In this form, teachers instruct classes independently but share resource material such as lesson plans, supplementary textbooks, and exercise problems. Third, one individual plans the instructional activities for the entire team. This model does not take full advantage of the team concept as only one individual's ideas are incorporated. Sometimes, due to time or financial constraints, there may be no alternative to one person designing the entire program. Then fourth, the team members share planning, but each instructor teaches his/her own specialized area to the whole group of students. An example would be 7 instructors teaching the 7 different topics in mathematics to 7 different classes and rotating throughout the duration of the course. Students, let us discuss some merits and demerits of team teaching. First, merits. Dear students, the major advantages of team teaching from instructors or teachers' point of view are: teaching for the instructor. Working as part of a team has a multitude of advantages. It gives the participating team teacher a supportive environment, allows for development of new teaching approaches, aids in overcoming academic isolation, increases the likelihood of sounder solution regarding the discipline of problematic students, and augments the opportunity for intellectual growth. Team members are part of a supportive environment in which they are exposed to different styles of planning, organization, and class presentation. This gives the team members an opportunity to develop and enhance their own teaching approaches and methods. Another benefit of team teaching is that working closely with one or more colleagues enables teachers to overcome the isolation inherent in teaching. When an instructor teaches solo, he or she rarely has the time or the opportunity for interacting with his or her fellow teachers, even though he or she is surrounded by educational colleagues. By working together, team teachers can discuss issues relating to students such as behavioral expectations, student motivation, and teaching policies, and end up with improved solutions. Robinson and Chiable 1995 described each team member as a sounding board for sharing the joys and the disappointments of particular class sessions. When team teaching involves interdisciplinary subjects, each member can gain enlightenment about lesser known fields and therefore grow intellectually. A few demerits of team teaching from instructor's point of view are: the primary disadvantage of team teaching appears to be the element of time. The time required prior to the implementation of the team teaching partnership for professional development, the many meetings needed during the running of the program, as well as the numerous impromptu chats that are bound to arise from such an endeavor. Ironically, the time factor that is so necessary to team teaching can also be divisive, as it may lead to conflict. Long before the teachers begin their first class teaching together, intensive staff development in the area of team teaching may be necessary. This training may involve learning rationale behind team teaching, shared readings and discussions, learning cooperative skills to enable a positive partnership to evolve, as well as learning a variety of time management skills to ensure smooth operation in meetings and in the classroom. While the course is running, time will be taken up by innumerable planned and spontaneous meetings dealing with planning the course, agreeing on guidelines for such issues as consistency when grading writing or tests, how to deal effectively with difficult students, how to improve the content of lessons and the manner in which they are delivered. Now, students, let us discuss the merits of team teaching from students' point of view. Team teaching can open students' eyes for accepting more than one opinion and to act more cooperatively with others. Team teaching may even provide educational benefits such as increasing the students' level of understanding and retention, in addition to enabling the student to obtain higher achievement. Exposure to the views of more than one teacher permits students to gain a mature level of understanding knowledge, rather than considering only one view on each issue or new topic brought up in the classroom. In addition, diverse perspectives encourage students to consider the validity of numerous views. The variety of teaching approaches used by the team can also reach a greater variety of learning styles. The cooperation that the students observe between team teachers serves as model for teaching students positive teamwork skills and attitudes. In a collaborative team teaching experience, When the two teachers present their respective content to the same class at the same time, the students witness and partake in a dynamic display of two minds and personalities. The benefits of collaborative learning include higher achievement, greater retention, improved interpersonal skills, and an increase in regard for group work for both students and teachers. A few demerits of team teaching from students' point of view. Potential disadvantages of team teaching for the students are: while team teaching may prove advantageous for many students, some students may feel frustration and discontentment about having more than one teacher. The potential for diversity and ambiguity within team teaching may prove disconcerting for some students who might become confused by more than one way of looking at issues or grading assignments. These students may be unwilling to try out new learning techniques such as small group work in this different team teaching environment. When team teaching involves two instructors teaching the same class at the same time, the inevitability of large class sizes may be a detriment for some students, particularly students with attention deficit disorders or students who feel uncomfortable or anonymous in large group settings. Also, a clever student may attempt to play one teacher against the other in order to improve his or her grades. This is one of the many reasons that team teachers have to maintain a common and united front and continually discuss the numerous team teaching issues and concerns in ongoing communication. This is one of the many reasons that team teachers have to maintain a common and united front and continually discuss the numerous team teaching issues and concerns in ongoing communication. With this, dear students, we conclude our today's lecture. Thank you.